Today we're going to be talking about repotting a Phalaenopsis orchid. Now, I am repotting this orchid for a friend of mine, and it was slightly overwatered when I picked it up from their house. Now, this was the sleeve that was around the plant to hold in the sediment and the roots, but you actually don't really need that. So I put a napkin around it to leach a lot of the moisture off. Now this is still in the original sphagnum moss that it came in. You can see here there's actually some pretty good roots though. Now I'm gonna have to take away all of this sphagnum moss because it's tightly packed in here. I'm just gonna take this sphagnum moss off, removing it all from around the plant. If the moss is clean, you can actually reuse this for your other plant projects after it dries out. So we see I took all of the sphagnum moss off, and even though it was overwatered, it's actually doing okay. We have one root here that is rotten, and I will trim that off. Yeah, it's just kind of pulling apart. And then these used to be roots. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a kind of like dental floss looking stuff. Those used to be roots. But I'm just gonna trim this off. I have some little shears here, and I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna trim this first little root string off. All right. Now, a cool thing about orchids is they actually photosynthesize through their roots. So it's fine if they kind of pop out of the soil sometimes. You don't have to cover them up because they absorb water, but they also can photosynthesize. All right, and got that dead one out of the way. Like I said, the overall health for this is actually pretty good. Something I want you to see here is, you see right here, we have this little baby leaf. You can see that coming in. Now with orchids, once it grows a leaf's gonna die. And we can see here that this leaf is kind of yellow. It's kind of bendy. Now, I'm just going to remove this leaf because this is the outer leaf and it's not really gonna do us any good. We can see where the old flower stem was here. Just gonna trim that off even further than it was. And I'm just gonna, the best way to remove orchid leaves is to actually have this vein running down the center, and you're just gonna tear it along that vein. You can see here, it's just gonna kinda pop right off. And look at that. Now for the other side. There. See, it's like getting a cavity out. It's gonna help it grow way better. And instead of focusing on saving this leaf that I just tore off, it'll be focusing more on root growth and growing the new leaf that's to come. You saw in the video, I took this rod out, and we don't need that till it starts actually growing the new flower stem. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to place my orchid mix, which is very porous, into my little pot here. All right, the owner of this orchid named her Claire. Alright, so we have this orchid potted up. It's kind of semi-packed on. You don't want it super tight. Alright. I'm just gonna stick this little stick in the side here. And now watering these guys, you're not gonna want to soak them. The most common death cause for orchids is actually overwatering, not underwatering. A really easy way to tell if your orchid needs water is you can take the leaves, and this one, I'm gonna water it, but the leaves will be super bendy. So like, well, pretty much like this leaf. It's like, see how bendy that is? That's because this wasn't getting enough water. And so if your orchid leaf, the healthy ones do this, it definitely is going to need water. Some really big don'ts for orchids. Number one, do not ever let water get on the leaves. If water gets on the leaves, use a napkin and gently wipe it off. You don't want to mix the leaves in any way because this will cause leaf rot. Another thing is don't spray the flowers. For some reason, that's a thing out there. People are like, oh, make sure you mist your flowers on your orchid. No, that's just going to cause them to rot and they will no longer look pretty. Trust me, I've seen it happen. Now, if there's dust accumulated on the leaves, just take a napkin, it can be damp, and lightly wipe off your leaves of your orchid. This orchid actually has 5 leaves and another one coming on. I have 6, but the 6th one is right here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it was a help, comment below. If not, comment below. Please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching Plant Corner.